Welcome back, everybody. I'm going to preface this video by saying that I'm someone that doesn't love when my favorite Fab YouTube channel starts talking about other card games. I'm also someone that doesn't play any other card games, haven't been interested in any other card games, but hang in there. Let me explain why I'm talking about Alpha Clash today. This is not sponsored. They did send me a couple of goodies, but my real interest is in something I'm going to talk about in the next 5 minutes. So I will probably get a lot of this stuff wrong. I don't know a lot about Alpha Clash. I'll just tell you what I think I know and correct me in the comments. But I believe they started off as a Kickstarter for a graphic novel, a comic. They've had I think 4 Kickstarters total, and one of them is for a card game. I believe they just closed out a Kickstarter for their board game based on, the graphic novels and stuff. So, okay, this is the actual novel, the book. I'm not sure which came first, but I had a chat with Rising Empire Studios, the owner, and his brother, who also is a very big part of the company. Here is, I believe, edition 1 of the comic, of the graphic novel. Let's have a look. I'm going to flick through a lot of this quickly. I don't know a lot about it, like I said, but I'm going to explain why I'm interested and probably will start getting some of this product in. So the main key, the main part I think about Alpha Clash that maybe stands apart is, aside from the comic book art, which is the direction they're going in, their whole game is based on the comic book lore. Or the lore in general. So I think that's a cool base point to start with for a card game. But again, I'm not super interested in other card games other than Fab, except recently on Team Covenant they announced their new PVE, which is something I've been waiting for Fab to do, which they seem to not be doing. This might just scratch that itch for me. So I want to get into the game, learn it a little bit, and see if I can get ready by August to maybe have some PVE going in the shop. So I believe I have 2, they've sent 3 boxes total, 2 sets. This is Genesis Returns. I believe Equilibrium is the more recent one. So I'm going to open a couple of boxes, have a look. I've literally never touched the product till now. And then hopefully by August, I've got a little bit more info, maybe built a deck or 2 and tried out the PvP. But my main goal, like I said, is I want to gear up for this PvE. It's very, look, go watch the Team Covenant video. It was only last week or so. Very cool system. The video's maybe a little long-winded if you just want to catch some gameplay, but you'll get the gist of it. It's a bit like the old WoW TCG that had the raid bosses, etc. There's loot packs. There's mechanics for soloing it. With 2-player, 3-player, 4-player, there's quite a bit. I'll try and talk through what I know about the game. I know this is a foil promo. You can tell by the P on the bottom, right? You guys can't see that through the cellophane. But I believe you start with a hero or a contender, as they're called in Alpha Clash. Let me grab a bin. Yeah, the contender's the hero you start with, and as I go through the cards, I'll try and explain how that works. I know a little bit about the rarity, but let's again. This is me. I know as much as you know at this point, maybe less. But there's actions which are probably like spells. Clashes, I believe, are more like on the board. I don't want to say minions, but I think that is kind of how it works. Bottom right, I believe, is the faction or the type of card or the color. And see if we can find a contender. So I don't know what the icons are, like what they stand for. But there's a contender. Genesis, Emissary, Chaos. So life totals on the top right. I believe attack and defense. That's the faction or team or color, and you'll see in the bottom here it has a little C, although again I don't know if you guys will see that. I can never work out to get my iPhone to focus when I want it to. No, really doesn't want to. Maybe, no. Okay, anyway, it has a C at the bottom right. This is an uncommon double up here for the foil. These are printed in China. A lot of the foils look amazing. They're textured, and that's our rare. So what to look out for, from my understanding, I think I showed the bottom of the box before. You're looking for, so how does it go? It goes common, uncommon, rare. Then there's like epic, legendary, or something like that. Let me flip a box again. Epic, iconic, legendary, and then alpha rare. So here's another glimpse at the bottom. So epics, we didn't hit an epic that box. I think it's a rare per pack. Sorry, in that pack. Alpha rare, there's only one of in the set. That's like the mega hit. And I believe iconic rares are just a rare with a different, like an alt art. Clash grounds are zones. I think they have their own zone on the mat when you play. Here's a uncommon accessory. Accessories go like on a zone underneath your clash cards, I believe. I've watched a little bit of how to play, but I'm no expert. I haven't played yet. And there's our rare for the... you know, I like to open things quick, so I'm going to try and get through one box, maybe two, just to get a feel for it. Sorry if I'm not stopping at every single thing to show you, but I want to show off the art. I want to get familiar with it a little bit. So they're uncommons now. Uncommon. There's a foil clash. And there's a rare. That looks very cool, Pestilence. I do like, I mean, it's hard. Is this going to be super crimped? I think it's hard to not like comic book art. I'm definitely like a big Marvel fan. I love, I'm going to maybe get the audiobook or download the novel and listen to it. Get my hands on some physical copies. Okay, here's our foil accessory and our rare. I want to get familiar with the lore. I think it's one of those things. If you it's like watching any TV show. If you get into the story, into the drama of anything, it becomes a lot more interesting to follow. So I do, as a lore-driven game, I want to see if I find it interesting whatsoever. It's a foil common. Okay, so that's another foil. I wasn't aware you could get two in a pack, but we did. It's a foil rare accessory. But again, my primary focus here, obviously if locals want to play this, I'll be happy to, I'll probably run some OP for it, but I really want to try and get like a PVE thing going. More of a board game, casual tabletop thing for me and friends to do. It's a very big selling point of Fab for me. There's a common foil portal. I think this was like a mechanic introduced in a more recent set, maybe this set. And there's a rare. Have no idea what it does. I could read the cards, but I'll read them later. I like doing unboxings the way I do every other unboxing. Just find some shiny cardboard. But yeah, the PvE looked really fun. Boss mechanics looked fun. Again, they're all thematic. They're all story-driven. So that's going to be fun to learn and get into. And I like that you can pretty much choose your difficulty. It doesn't have to be super hard. But I was told that if you don't know how to play the game, you should probably play some PvP first before getting right into the PvE. So that's very cool. The cards are great. I only have a set. I think this is 2023 and 2024 and 2025 releases. These two that I'm gonna open today. I believe like the first sets maybe had a different art direction, and I believe, and I was told maybe a couple of spoilers, so I won't go too far. But I think these are confirmed in the Team Covenant video. It's a double rare, double foil pack again. That the art direction is, I mean, it's clearly comic book based, but I think there's going to be a lot more comic book strip type cards that maybe even connect together to form a page. They're very much leaning into that. I also believe there's, from August, here we go. This is that an E? It is an E. It's an epic. Shadow Light. You can see the foiling of the name is like textured itself. It's probably the biggest hit we've seen so far for this. Again, I don't know the hit rates. I think epic might be 1 per box. I believe it's the higher up ones that are much more chase. But yeah, August, I believe there's a lot of changes coming. Obviously, the PVE gets released. I saw maybe 2 of them when there were like 2 different PVE sets coming. But I believe there's some more changes in August. I think more down the line of excuse me, I had to sneeze then. More along the lines of focus on comics, or maybe more comics. So I think they want to release, I guess, more intellectual property for the game. These guys are indie. They're US based, printed in China. I think they have a team of about 5. I couldn't find like a lot of content. I was hoping to find content, especially on the lore of the game, to help me get into the story. So if you know of anyone that like does lore summaries, breakdowns, storytelling, please comment below. That's the main thing I'd like to delve into. It's a foil rare. I do like the feel, the look of the cards. They're quite cool. They're all full art, obviously comic book styled. Ooh, what's this? This is a legendary Dragon Helm. Very cool looking card. What does it do? Safeguard, attach contender gets blah 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 blah. So it has a Kagan thing. Is that a contender you have to play this with? Yes, it looks like it. So weapons or accessories, I believe, go like under the card. That's very cool. Yeah, the PVE really stood out to me. Looked fun. So expect at least another video on that when that comes in August. So common foil and a rare foil. A few packs left, and I'll jump into the more recent set. I think it's called. I think this is Genesis Returns. What I'm opening, it is, and then I'll do some Equilibrium. I might leave the last box, see if some of the locals feel like opening it. I won't sell it or anything. I don't think this is a draftable set. I think there is. Ooh, we got another epic. What's this guy? Shocking Revelation. Really got to work out the focus. Anyway, I think once I start recording, I can't really fiddle with the focus on this. I might make a pile of the better cards. I won't go digging for the other epic. It's somewhere in there. These are big hits so far. Bigger hits. Again, I have no idea about hit rates. I did watch a few unboxing videos just to get my head around the rarities and what to look for. So uncommon foil. But yeah, again, I'm sure some Alpha Clash people will educate me. But this game does seem to be lacking some content. I couldn't find, which is no fault of the publisher of the game. Maybe their support's lacking. I don't know. All I know is I couldn't find So also the words Alpha Clash are fairly generic when you search for them. So maybe the YouTube algorithm doesn't necessarily give me what I'm looking for. But I will try and find some lore content. The PVE, the things I remember, the ones that stood out the most for me is the difficulty is adjustable, and there's loot packs. I think there's 5 loot packs in the box. But also, the boss itself, I believe in the WoW TCG, the boss needed a player. Like, you had to have a player play it. I believe in... It's another epic. So epics seem common enough. This is a clash card. Maybe then... Yeah, maybe epics are like multiple per box. Maybe a little like a foil majestic or something. Ooh, that is mounted on the back. What was I saying? PVE. Yes, the difficulty slider. There's another epic. Kagan. Ah, there's Kagan. He can put his helmet on now. But this, in Alpha Clash, it seems like there's a... you can have the boss autopilot. I think it's just flipping, like he takes certain actions. Ooh, this is a big one. I know by the signature because I saw this a little bit online. This is an iconic rare, so I believe it's a alt art rare with a artist signature on it. That was the last pack too. All right, that's box 1 done. And I'll smash this next box now that I know a little bit more. But yeah, let me know below if you've had some experience with this game in PvP, I guess, because so far there's no PvE experience available. But also, if you're interested in the PvE itself, maybe check it out. They have a lot of organized play. I believe they're quite active in the Philippines, like the community's active in the Philippines. Obviously, there's a bunch in the US, but they've had some issues in Australia with distribution, I believe. We're going to see if we can help with that. So our promo is Avarice, the Iridescent. But yeah, they're a great team of guys. It's usually like the case dealing with smaller companies is usually a nice thing. They're active, they're responsive, they were very quick to jump on a call with me. But yeah, didn't think I'd be unboxing a TCG I was thinking of getting into after Fab, but yeah, I mean, I've been talking about PVE for a long time. I've been asking James about it for a long time. And by the way, on that topic, like I don't fault them at all. I think LSS are absolutely kicking it out of the park with their design philosophy and their competitive scene. Like it's not a dig whatsoever. I think people should do, and companies especially, should just do what they're good at, or what they're succeeding at, or what their vision is. And I think LSS, like very clearly, their vision is this competitive Pro Tour circuit, World Tour circuit. So I think it's it's just, it leaves that opening for me to look at something more casual. And something that is more like, how do you put it? More welcoming for people that don't want to play competitively. I think Flesh and Blood lacks in that department where UPF never really, still hasn't taken off. I still think they don't really provide enough support for that format. And then, you know, they've printed merchants and things over time, and people have thought there's a casual format coming, but it doesn't look like it is. So this is going to be a fun little experiment. I do like the art. It's definitely a big difference from... It's a cool looking rare. It's a big difference, obviously, from the darker fantasy of Flesh and Blood. Wonder if there are many comic book TCGs. I really don't follow the space outside of I probably know more, like aside from Flesh and Blood, I only really see Magic stuff around. It's another epic. Yeah, I'm not too keen to stop and read every card. I'm kind of eyeballing them. I've noticed the top right, they all have different colors. I believe there's 5 colors. Green, white, there's black, blue, and red. But I don't know what they... I don't know exactly what they are. Colossal Combatant. But it'll be interesting to play. I've heard it's fast-paced. I think it's 35 life is like the highest contender I've seen. I could be wrong. That might be higher. This guy looks like Thanos. 50 or 55 card deck. You draw 8 cards at the start. I watched a couple of learn to plays, but you know, most of it's going to go over my head till I physically sit down, I think, and learn it. So I might end up using all these cards to build some janky decks with my friends today and see if we can figure out how to play. Shouldn't be too hard. It does seem fairly straightforward. I think it's more going to be around the more nuanced rules, phases and priorities and things. I believe, again, this is all just coming to me as I talk about it. There's, I think everything comes in, what the word would be, untapped. That you can attack right away. And I believe you can, another epic, Colonel Edwards. Yeah, I believe you can use cards as resources. I think you, maybe you mill your deck face down, something like that. But there's a zone where you, I believe, use your cards as resources. So I won't, it's very unlikely I'll make any gameplay videos. As you guys know, it's not really what we do here. But if we end up playing PVE, that might be something I stream or whatever, just for fun. Get you guys involved. Maybe get the stream to pilot the boss. Who knows? That could be fun. Contender. Mage Dean. But yeah, I think these characters are all supposed to mean something. Like the art is more than just Paul doing his best. I did see this one. It's kind of funny. All right, this is it is an iconic rare. There we go. So far it's been 1 a box for these iconics. Yeah, so the character's supposed to mean something. So I think that's him there. Which, you know, Flesh and Blood do very well. People really do. What's this? So you want to be a rider? People get, like, they buy into a character or a class. So I am curious about how I'll feel when I... Ooh, it's an epic. This might be... I heard something about gold cards. This looks gold. It's an epic, but I don't know if it's like a special version of one. It's just very, very golden. I was looking at some secondary market pricing, but, you know, at first glance, I can't tell you that I've hit anything big aside from what the rarities are. But there's definitely some expensive pieces of cardboard in this game. All right, last 3 packs, and then I'll sign off. But hopefully you enjoyed. Again, sorry it's a bit clunky, but this is my first look and take on something. And I didn't want to over-prepare and, like, take away from my own first experience. Like, I could have opened some boxes off camera to figure out what I'm doing, but this is more fun for me. Hopefully you just end up checking out the PVE anyway in August. Check out the Team Covenant video. That's where I found out. I'd heard of Alpha Clash before that as a Kickstarter TCG, which I'll be honest, like I will have very little interest in Kickstarter TCGs as that goes. Here's our last pack with an epic Zhao Li. But this is cool, and 4 or 5 years after a Kickstarter, they're indie, they're small, but it's not it's not a Kickstarter TCG anymore, I would say. But yeah, check them out. Alpha Clash and Rising. I have a terrible memory. It has the publisher's name somewhere, and Rising Empire Studios, there it is. It really doesn't want to focus. See you guys soon.